Hello there folks, welcome back to my channel. Now this year I'm going to delve into the world of simulations and experiments on Football Manager using the engine of Football Manager 2020. Some of the experiments are going to be more serious than others, some are going to be quite funny, some are going to be daft, some aren't going to be serious at all, some are going to be very serious. None of them are going to be very serious. So if you've got any suggestions for experiments, comment section, that's where you get involved. And I thought, where better to start, viewers? You've seen the title, you know what's coming. I've put Manchester United in the Vanarama National League North, the 6th tier of English football, and we're going to see what happens to them over the course of potentially 6 years if they get all the way promoted back up, or maybe more than that. Now, of course, if they get relegated, this will be quite a short experiment, viewers. And when I say experiment, putting Manchester United into the Vanarama League National North and then simulating it, it's a simulation. This is less experiment, this is more simulation. Now, I could have changed lots of things. I could have maybe changed the manager, I could have changed some of the personnel, but I've kept them as they are currently. So in the Europa League, as well as being within the Vanarama National North, their squad remains exactly the same. It's going to be interesting to see if these players want to leave, of course, or whether they're willing to take the money and stay at this level on the contracts that they're currently on. It'll be interesting to see what happens when contracts begin to get towards the end, if Manchester United are willing to offer them. Now, there's two ways this can go. They will either, I think, skyrocket, or they will have a mass exodus and then struggle in one of the lower divisions. That'll be interesting to see what occurs. What I think might happen, though, is that they'll be fine because of their sponsorship. Manchester United are one of the only teams that can survive year on year without Premier League money. So that's going to be interesting. When they lose the European money, their reputation and not being in the Premier League, of course, will slowly start to come down. The players in which they can attract will slowly start to come down. But as they are right now, they're still, imagine if we put Manchester United into the tier 6 right now, they're still Manchester United. They still have a lot of fans there. They're probably going to win every game week in, week out. You would assume so anyway. And it'll be interesting to see how the youngsters play as well. So what we'll do is we'll go year on year and we'll see what happens, and we'll take a look at some of the funny, quirky things that perhaps happen in this. If they lose to any of these sides in the Vanarama National North, that'll be interesting. You may be wondering, well, Ben, you've put Manchester United into the Vanarama League National North. Who's in the Premier League? Chester. 7th. They've got Bernard Morley in charge, former manager of Salford City. You might remember if you've seen the documentaries and things like that. Chester, as they are currently, have been thrown into the Premier League. They'll, of course, get quite a lot of money for that. Whether they do particularly well or not, I don't know. They are geographically close. That's the reason they've been moved. Teams don't have to travel too far from what they normally would. So, of course, we'll keep a little eye on the Premier League if anything interesting happens. I suspect Chester might find it quite tough in that first year. So let's see. How much does sponsorship, how much does reputation play a part in this sort of thing? Let's find out then. Manchester United, tier 6, how will they continue on their journey in world football? You might be wondering why Manchester United. That's partially why, but also I think they're in a weird situation in real life, so why not? It's not a personal dig, viewers. It's just a bit of fun. Okay, then year 1 has been completed, and the most curious thing to me off the bat is they didn't have the top goal scorer in the league. You can already see there they've won the title. York City will be joining them in the next level. Anthony Martial on 14 goals was the highest goal scorer for them. Mata had a fair few assists, but let's see what happened then with United. So as we suspected, we'll first look at the league table. So they've won the league. They've not lost a game. They've won 40 of 42. They've drawn against Brackley and Bradford PA. Massive for those two clubs. Bradford PA, I now notice, got relegated. So one of the teams that United drew against got relegated. Football. Bloody hell. All right, let's just take a deeper look into what went on. First things first, what transfers occurred? Oh, this is ridiculous. They've bought players. So Matic went to West Ham, which is, that might happen anyway on the games. I'm not too sure. They've bought James Ward-Prowse and Jared Bowen from Hull. They've spent how much? They've spent 42 million in the 6th tier. They've only bought in a little bit. Okay, yeah. Okay. Is there FFP in this division? I don't think there is there. Financial fair play? I don't think so. All right, player-wise, who scored some of the goals? Let's put my particular view on. I'm curious to see. So Martial, 22 in all competitions, then Rashford, then Greenwood. I can see why they didn't have a top goal scorer. It's spread so much across all of the players. When you've got Michael Jacobs, who might be familiar to Manchester United. Was he bought as well? No, they bought him from Wigan. Sorry, I missed that one. They bought him from Wigan. They spent even more money. They've just got so many goal scorers going on. Angel Gomez is playing quite a few games. McTominay's in there. Fred, Juan Mata, Talith Chong's there. So they've got all sorts going on. What's more crazy is none of these players left. The majority of them have stayed on these, and I should clarify, on these massive contracts. Some of them are on huge money. Alexis Sanchez is about to come back on 400 grand a week. What's going to happen? Hang on, we need to, let me add myself as the manager of Manchester United and check their finances. It's interesting, I've just appointed myself as manager. I will obviously take myself away from this and allow Solskjaer to continue his journey. But after the 24-25 season, they will attempt to remain in the Sky Bet Championship. That's going to be interesting to see how that goes on then. They expect to get promoted every single year and grow the club's reputation at the same time. Fascinating. They want to maintain the club status as the most reputable team in England. I love that. Straight away in this division still. And financially, what? Where is the money coming from? So last year's sponsorship money, they've just had, I think that's what's happened, they've just had this year's sponsorship money added last month. So that was 200, I told you, this is ridiculous. In terms of television revenue, they got that, I assume, from Europe, 6.2 million. Obviously, that's probably going to fade away now, unless they've won the League Cup ridiculously. But the sponsorship money at Manchester United is outrageous. That's the one thing we're taking from this. So does that mean the players will just continue to be there forever? Let's look at some of the fixtures. So yeah, they were pretty dominant. Bradford PA early in the season got a 1-1 draw though. I love that. They had two players sent off. I thought they had 3 men off there. That probably is a factor as to why then. 3. What about the other one? They lost to Valencia in the Europa League, so they were knocked out of that. They won the FA Trophy final. Yeah, okay. Knocked out the FA Cup on penalties to Liverpool. And this other draw, again, Marcus Rojo got sent off. That seems to be a theme of when they don't win games with sending offs occur. All right, let's see. Next time, Van Arma National has been promoted. What's going to go on? All right, then, we're into year 2. Let's take a look. Manchester United. Right, then. They've won the league again. That's the first thing I've noticed. So the Van Arma National, so far they've not lost, remember. They've still not lost a league game. This run could go on forever. Imagine if they don't lose a game up until the point in which they get to the Premier League or even the Championship. That'd be crazy. You'd think cup upsets happen quite often, but so 46 games, they've won 45, drawn 1, lost 0. They've done quite well. Oh, by the way, what's happened to Chester? Did Chester go to Chester finished? This has not gone well for Chester. Chester have won 2 games. Did they win a game in the Premier League? Oh, Chester. I just have to know, viewers. It's so sad. Oh no, 2 points. What have I done to Chester? The morale at that club is going to be, well, not great. I like the fact that he resigned from the role, Bernard Morley. They lost 38 and didn't win, and he was still there, plugging away. Well, that might be one of the earliest relegations ever. Right, back to United, though. Now, I don't know about you. I'm fascinated in the transfer situation. Financially now, we know they're basically doping at this point. All right, so players out. Did any big boys leave then? Martial, Newcastle, gone. Marcus Rashford went as well. Daniel James Garner, and Scott McTominay all went to Watford. Chris Smalling went to Wolves. Into Miami, signed Michael Jacobs, which is bizarre considering they signed him before that. And then I realised what's happened on the other side. They've spent 104. They've made a profit, but they've spent 144 million. Ross Barkley, Davy Propper, Ben Davis, Leandro Trossard, Callum Chambers and Michy Batshuayi have all joined Manchester United in the Vanarama National, viewers. Yeah, this is definitely in the fun category of what on earth is going on. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer must have one hell of a record. Let's have a look here then. So he's lost 4 games. I don't know if those games must include the ones they've been knocked out of Europe. That's it, and cup competitions. They've won the FA Trophy back-to-back. They've won back-to-back FA trophies, standard. Is there any fun? I'm interested in the schedule of the team. Have they won any games massively? Not by a huge margin, it must be said. Out of the FA Cup to Leicester that time, and a 1-1 draw against Havant and Waterloo. Was there a sending off in that one? No, just a 1-1, just a general 1-1. And they put a relatively decent side out as well, taking a look at that. Alexis Sanchez is playing for them, is he? On 400 grand a week? Yep, he's still there. No one can afford him. That's part of the issue. And player-wise, who's had a good year this year then? Paul Pogba. How is Pogba not moved yet? It's so bizarre to me that he's not moving on. Did they have the top goal scorer in the league this year? No, they didn't. Solly almost. I can't figure it out. How many goals did they score? 105. They've got a goal difference. They've not scored 105. They've got a goal difference of 105. So they've scored 114 goals, and their top goal scorer has got what was it 15 goals? They're not even dominating this list. There's so many players who must have 8 or something goals. So yeah, you look at the goals actually, and I mean maybe players were sold in January. That's the only way I can explain this. Players leave in January? Aha! Martial went to Newcastle in the January. Who had 8 goals for them already and then moved on. I wonder if the same applies to Rashford. No, he went early. He went early in the summer. Sorry, I missed that. He went early in the summer. James Garner, Daniel James, they must have scored goals. What is that? How? I mean, I could add it all up and figure it out. But yeah, I mean, he got 8 as well. So yeah, they were getting goals. Imagine playing Vanarama National Football every week and then going to the Premier League and having to play there every week. So they've bought players. I can't believe they've bought players. You'd think they would just cope, wouldn't you? But they can obviously, the attraction of Manchester United is still strong enough. We have to go to the next year. All right, we're into the next year now. Here we go. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still in charge. Has he lost a game yet? He'd lost 4, hadn't he, last time? I'm just curious before we move any further. 7, so they've lost other games. But it says it there. They've won League 2. They've won now 3 titles back to back. They've still not lost. There's not even been one game in the league that they've lost. They've got up with Salford, which is quite interesting. But unreal. Okay, so they've just not lost a league game. Their run now stretches to 3 seasons of invincibility. And they had the top goal scorer. Mitchie finally got it. David De Gea. These are the highest average ratings I've ever seen for a goalkeeper. 7.56, 7.50 and 7.55. 25 clean sheets every single year. I've just noticed there in the Vanarama North, in the 26 games, he conceded 1 goal and had 25 clean sheets. That's amazing. So did they buy players again? Stop buying players. I'm actually annoyed about it. They shouldn't be doing this. All right, okay, well, hold on, viewers. They have stopped buying players. They've realised their squad's quite good. Interestingly, though, players have left. So Mason Greenwood's gone. Jared Bowen, who they bought in the first season, has left. James Ward-Prowse, similar situation. He's gone to Stoke as well. Sergio Romero's gone. Callum Chambers has been loaned out to Crystal Palace while they're in League 2. And, team-wise then, it's quite interesting because they've still got... I mean, the squad is still outrageous. Goal-wise, they're banging them in. The Paul Pogba situation is baffling me. He's got 14... He's just staying at Manchester United and just tearing it up. There's 2 sides of this, isn't there? There's, would you leave if it's you and go and want to play? This is like going to China. They've all decided we're going to China. But they're not going to China. They're going to Carlisle twice a year. Or once a year. There's home and away, I know. So they've won again, viewers. They've won again. I feel like we're at the halfway point. So what we'll do, so this video isn't 30 minutes long, we'll do 2 of them. As soon as this, hopefully people are into this. Hopefully you are. If you are into it, as soon as this hits 1,000 likes, we will upload the next part of Manchester United, no longer in Tier 6, in Tier 4, and racing their way up towards the Premier League. I'm hoping it gets more difficult for them. How they do in other competitions, before we go, we have to check. Okay, I was concerned they would have won, because they were in the League Cup this year, right? Yeah, Carabao Cup quarter-final, lost to Southampton, so they are losing to the bigger teams when they're playing them, and the FA Cup must be a similar scenario. Yeah, Chelsea beat them 3-0. The United team in that game, though, was still quite good. Ross Bartley's in there, Mitchie's in there, Rashford. So Mitchie's now playing for United and Rashford's playing for Chelsea. I thought this would sort of happen. I didn't think it would be this dominant. I thought players would leave. And before we wrap this up then, let's quickly look at the financials. I've got to say, I do find this all quite disgusting in a weird way. All right then, we'll just take over and we'll see what's what. Again, if you've got ideas for suggestions of things you'd like to see similar to this, let me know. Comment section, get involved. Has the club vision changed? Let's just take a look here. So the club vision now is to... Okay, well, all right then. There's no stay in and continue in the Championship. They want to maintain... They want to challenge for the title in their first year of promotion. Man, the reputation is just such a massive factor. You wonder if they... Maybe we should try them in like Tier 10, Tier 12 and see if the reputation eventually works its way down. I don't know. Their balance is 500 million. They can afford this, not a problem. Their sponsorships are still massive and they last for a long enough period that they're not going to run out. And by the time they do run out, because you've got to get... So on one level, right, Ed Woodward is doing a terrible job at Manchester United. Financially, in terms of sponsors, they could go down to Tier 6 and just rock it back up because of how much money they're making outside of the Premier League bubble. It's incredible. They're just... It's madness. Like the power of these big clubs compared to... you've got to think, right, United are like 1% of the football league and they've got so much power into... Not all clubs don't have this. We should maybe try it with a lesser Premier League side. Maybe try it with someone like Norwich and see how Norwich react to something like this because their sponsorship just isn't there. They're probably at the bottom of the chart compared to United who are at the top. Mitchie Batshuayi and Paul Pogba. Just absolutely loving it. Okay then, that's going to bring us to the end of this one. I say, as soon as this hits 1,000 likes, we will do the next 3 years and hopefully that will include some Premier League action. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes them to win a Premier League title. Maybe that's the point we'll go to. But if you've enjoyed this, as I say then, please do leave a like. If you want to see more experiments, more simulations, make sure you're subscribed and I'll see you for more another time. This is ludicrous, but at the same time, I am loving it. It's very fun to watch this happen. Right then, I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Oh, mad. As I said then, as soon as this video gets 1,000 likes, we'll have episode 2. And of course, check out the 2 series you can see on screen. Links in the description.